Hi guys, please confirm that you can see me. Okay, let's get started. So it's Friday, and as always, we are having our regular AMA, in which we cover what happens in Waves ecosystem without mincing words and censorship. So as you probably can see, I'm back in Dubai. Obviously, buildings like that exist only in Dubai. It's hard to find anything like that anywhere else. I don't mean it in a good way, actually. Okay, let's get started. So it was an interesting week, actually. Why? Because what happened? Waves DAO is working, and as you know, we are moving forward to like full decentralization, like absolute decentralization, and being like totally trustless and requiring no trust whatsoever. So this week, as you know, probably you know this. Inflation from miners, it happened a week before. Inflation from miners, like 33% of inflation is going to the DAO now. And last week, a lot of projects came to apply for that funding that comes from the miners, including the core team, the team that develops the Waves protocol, Power team itself applied for some funding, and both proposals were accepted today. And I did vote for both of them. So I didn't really vote before, but I think it's important to make sure that people understand that I participate in with DAO governance as well. So I voted for both of them today. And especially interesting is the proposal from the Node team, because basically it will allow us to try and kill two birds with one stone, actually, because there is going to be a token which will be called MPT, mining power token, which will be used to generate a new L2 tokens in the future EVM L2 that we are developing. It's quite important for Waves ecosystem to finally have EVM. I think EVM is kind of like, whether you like it or not, it became some kind of a standard for smart contracts. It's not a perfect solution, but it's okay, because it's like, it's acceptable, so the community has accepted it. So yeah, EVM should be there, and basically, please, I didn't allow anyone to speak. Please, can you mute yourself? What's going on? Yeah, please. Yeah, you can just type your questions in the chat. So, what's going to happen with this new token? People who have XTN investing will be able to convert their vesting into this new token without any restrictions. Also, miners who support Waves DAO will be receiving this token. And actually, miners are very important in this setup because they will be the ones generating L2 tokens. And people who receive MPT will have to lease those tokens to the miner community to get L2 token. and the calculations are such that the idea is to make sure that people are able to exit their XTN positions through swapping into the new token in such a way that basically they don't lose funds, at least. I'm not like talking about profits. Probably it would be, a bit incorrect. But the idea is to make sure that people can swap their XTN holdings into MPT. MPT generates new L2 tokens, and based on some pretty simple calculations, based on some projections of market capitalization of the new L2 chain, I think that there is a very good opportunity for people to exit their XTN and basically be made whole. At the same time, we are launching L2. So we are trying to move the ecosystem forward, and we are trying to resolve the issues that we are facing and maybe restore some trust, because now crypto, depends on trust. Absolutely. It's so funny. It's very ironic because crypto is supposed to be trustless. And the only chain which is actually trustless is Bitcoin, I guess, a little bit trustless. The rest is kind of like not so much. But it is what it is, so we have to deal with it. And yeah, some trust wouldn't hurt, but it doesn't matter, actually. So what we want to do, we want to make sure that people can exit their positions and that we move the ecosystem forward, launching the L2. And the L2 is just the first stage towards like a more complete network, which includes multiple L2s interacting through L1 or L0. I prefer to call it this way because L0 should be like very optimized for those L2s. And it's just the first step. And everybody has been asking us for years why we don't have EVM. So EVM is kind of like needed, and it will give a huge push to the Waves ecosystem. And as I said, at the same time, we are resolving the situation with XTN, because some people will swap into XTN. XTN banking ratio will go up, price should go up. Whales who have vesting in VRAS will be able to exit their positions. There is some incentives for big whales to support the token because they have some reserves. There are some exchanges in VRAS, as probably you've read in crypto media. So we are thinking that it could work out and is gonna actually be some kind of solution to many questions. So yeah, so this is what happened. I think I gave you some kind of like, some kind of like a breakdown of this solution. I will be explaining it in more detail once this swap will start, and there's going to be more explanations, more tutorials, and such. So yeah, I think this is the most important. Some other things have happened, but let me basically maybe tell you about those things by answering your questions. Let me pick some questions. Should I join and roast Sasha again? Anytime, man. This is what we are here for, actually. VC News, Mohammed. Yes, I was in Turkey. We had some discussion with some VC fund, but I think it's a little bit too premature. So there is some memorandum of understanding, but I wouldn't like to make any kind of PR out for it, even if you like it, So let's just wait and see. And I think I need to change my VC strategy, because I now have some experience. The thing is, I've never raised any funds in my life, So, and it's kind of like something new for me. So Yeah, I need to maybe make some kind of a pivot. I have a couple ideas, but I won't share. I'm sorry. That thing that I announced, actually, probably it will move forward, but it's kind of like not concrete now. So I actually, even if you hate me and you don't believe me, I probably prefer not to say anything premature. Why the exchange price is falling despite the buyout? I think it's kind of stable, and the buyout volume is not so huge. So it's pretty hard to expect exchange price skyrocketing in a day with 5K per day buyout. So it's like it should accumulate. It can't happen in one day, obviously. And this new proposal with MPT should boost the price as well. This is the idea here. Where in Dubai? Just ping me. I'm in JLT area. If you like, just message me. Yeah. Explain why you want to meet me. With various debt assumptions starting soon, will all collateral be turned into like kind of hard, so because there is a thing when you can exit virus into the new token, and there is also LP tokens. So let me just maybe write it down for everybody next week to understand, because it might be quite complicated to explain in words. What will happen after the DAO failed? The DAO will run out of funds. No, DAO will not fail, man. It will not fail. Structured not to fail. You don't understand. There is it can't fail because of exchange donation. So it's like structured not to fail. So just next week, because next week, is some, because we are like okay. I'll explain you why I'm mentioning next week, okay? Can I explain about the deprecated markets in V1? So deprecated markets will be assumed, as happened with whale accounts in VIRS. And actually, they will be assumed in the same account. And I think that we should implement vesting for V1 as well. But it is to be discussed, and it will be up for governance again. Or we can actually try to not do vesting, but there is some XTM in collateral, and there is some debt. So it's not like unbacked, but it's like unbacked, but there is XTM. So we can wait till XTM goes up, sell it, and liquidate V1. Or we can implement the same vesting structure, but that will increase the supply of XTM. So let's just probably vote for this. It can fail like WX IDO couldn't fail. Actually, WX token is not doing too well, but a lot of people made profits, I think. So if you just look closely and the results of WX IDO, and you will understand that it's not so bad as it seems, because a lot of people were able to either take their XTM back when it was packed, or claim WX and sell it. So if we talk purely about financial aspect, just like I haven't done the calculation, I think you can do that yourself, but it's not so bad as it seems. And DAO has nothing to do with it. And the same thing, you need to understand that there was like a huge part of the DAO donated, like 20 million XTN, which is $1 million. And it's like just donated. So basically, whatever happens to the DAO now is okay. You understand? So like, it's very simple, man. Waves was a partner in Pantos, the multi-chain interoperability project at the very beginning. I'm not in touch with them, unfortunately. I don't know if it moved forward. I know that Bitpanda is doing well, but I know nothing about Pantos, to be honest. I think they got some VC funding, and they're very big in Central Europe, in Austria, Germany, Italy. And I remember the guy, Paul Klanchek, yeah, he was one of escrows during our ICO in 2016. But we are like not in touch at the moment, so probably like I've never met him in person. Probably I should, because they're doing quite well as far as I know. And I'm happy for them because he's an OG guy, and he was in the NXT community, and I've known him since at least 2014, I guess. Any plans to restart the neutrino swap? You can swap. You can swap XTN into the tokens, but you can't issue more XTN. It is like closed until further notice. It's like because it has to be burned. All the excess XTN has to be burned before you can issue a new one. When TGE on the native L2 token? Next week, I will explain it more detail, prepare some light paper, some maybe not even light paper, maybe some kind of like a leaflet, because it should include the process for the swap. It should include the description of the mining process, because it's going to be a little bit intricate, because you have a token having which you can generate a new token. So I understand that this is not the simplest thing ever, but basically the idea is to try and kill two birds with one stone. And this is what we are trying to achieve here. So the setup is a little bit complicated, because you have like complicated setups, when you have a lot of constraints. It's very good, to start from scratch, but this is the best thing that can happen to a man, when you start from scratch. Usually it happens only once or twice in your life. So in other situations, you have to deal with the situation at hand, So, and in this case, you have a lot of restrictions. So I've been thinking about the setup for like several months, because on one hand, it's not rocket science, because basically you don't have that many degrees of freedom here. On the other hand, you need to come up with something that could actually work. And it's not so easy to come up with, solutions that actually don't seem too sophisticated. But when you have so many constraints, it's not easy. So I've been thinking about setup for a couple months at least, So this is the best I can come up with. Let's see how it works out. But the logic is there, and we can discuss the logic. But I think the idea is very simple. The only complication here that you need to have basically two tokens, like the first token, which is needed for mining, and having that token, you generate the second token. Will Neutrino have MPT in the contract? I wouldn't do that, man. If you can come up with some scenario where it could be beneficial for ecosystem, I think, yeah, but I just can't see the scenario yet. I think it should be separate. I wouldn't mix things, and definitely not, try to, so to say, throw like good money after bad money, and meaning in this case, trying to like launch something that still uses some stuff that failed. Because all those things have to resolve the situation, but on the other hand, they have to be as independent as possible from all those failed things. Why don't you use XTN as layer 2 token? I thought about that as well, man. Yes, like this idea comes to you immediately. It's not gonna work because of like probably economical reasons, and people will just dump it, and the price won't be too good. And in this case, we don't have any kind of tools to attract liquidity, for example, because in this new L2, part of the generated tokens will go to the DAO, and those tokens can be used to bring projects. If you remember, for example, Phantom, I think they did it pretty well. And I'm not like discussing Ponzinomics and such, but the idea was to use Phantom token, FCM, to give some kind of like liquidity rewards. So when projects reaches some kind of TVL level, it gets rewarded with tokens. And we need to have some like financial incentives for people to come to that L2, because there is a lot of competition now. But in any case, if we have financial incentives, people will come. But if we just swap XTN into the L2 native token, probably people will just dump it, and it will cost like a couple cents. So it's not going to be nice, So I think this setup, when we have a token, a new native token, which is generated from scratch, basically from zero, it's better, because in this case, you will be able to support the price through marketing, obviously. Maybe some market makers will come. And in this case, we will have more tools at your disposal. Now the price of the XTN is 5 cents. What potential profit will the investor get if it converts XTN into MPT? Yeah. So the idea is that, so like as you understand, the token price of L2 native token of L2 network is not limited. So it's like it's a bet, of course. It's like it's an investment, and potentially, if it is successful, it can bring you profits, or at least pay you your money back. So because there is upside is unlimited. I don't think that XTN investment has unlimited upside, guys. So yeah, so probably our goal is to make sure that it is closer to $1. Maybe it can be sometime even more, although like I'm not trying to convince you that it can go like to $10. No, but potentially it can. But probably you can't expect it to go too high. But in case of like L2 token, anything can happen if it's successful, because I think that EVM network will be just the first network in this like assembly of networks. So it's going to be like more or less, if you know Cosmos, for example, it's somehow similar to Cosmos, based on a different technology. But the idea is to create like an assembly, like a union of different chains, unified by a basic layer, which is optimized to work with them. And all those L2s which have EVM should have the same token, basically, So the same token that will be launched now So there is a very good opportunity for this token to probably appreciate in price in the future. Buy XTN. No financial advice. The only financial advice I give usually, as you know, you should buy food staples, maybe like soap, stuff like that. This is like what I can recommend you in current situation in the world. When that assumption starts on Verse V1, will addresses that have BTC Ethereum as collateral get a different deal than users that have stables? I don't think there is so many of those either there. I have to check. It's mostly XTM, so I have to check actually. I don't remember. Let me check. Yeah, the idea is small airdrop for L2 or even rumors can attract. Why rumors? We will announce it. There is no rumors here. Finally, we'll have EVM because I'm not like trying to, to trick you into like believing. Because people did ask for years why we don't have EVM. We didn't have EVM because we started more or less at the same time when Ethereum started. So we tried to provide some kind of like another direction for development. Well, of course, compared to Ethereum, we failed, kind of like. Of course, I'm not gonna say that like we were successful. So it is a very valid approach that we are having with right and a non-Turing complete approach. There is like bigger projects which are somehow bigger than us, but like not much different. Like, don't think they're better, like Cardano, for example. Yeah, they have the same approach. It is not based on accounts. It is based on inputs, outputs, but it's kind of similar. So this approach makes sense, but somehow EVM has won for now. So because it's easier to understand and it's like Turing complete, it means that the programming language is very similar to existing ones, so you don't have to like learn anything new, like conceptually. Because it's Turing complete, you have like cycles, you have everything, and actually it became the standard. So I think it can give a huge push to Waves ecosystem, and it will attract a lot of teams to Waves. So this is what we should do. Maybe in some other situation, we do something different, like trying to develop the approach that we have. But I think, it's not the best time for us to be picky. So we should do the thing that should obviously work. And this is what we're going to do now. Addresses that have Waves locked on Verse V1, will they receive XTN? Yes, they should. Yes. You mentioned before that XTN bot will be buying BTC. Yes, there is because as you know, I've been discussing this for months, but I think that it would be wrong to allow people to exit vesting into this because that would just bring more XTN into the market, and we are trying to grow the price of XTN, not to dump it, but that would dump the price. That would basically, that would be pretty bad for our efforts. So I think there's going to be a project within the ecosystem that will do that independently. You'll be able to just invest your XTN into the trading bot that will be accumulating BTC. It's not going to be only buying BTC, it's going to be selling it as well if it's profitable. But the idea is to accumulate as much BTC, Ethereum, I don't know, Ripple. As you know, there is some maybe big news from yesterday. I think they're pretty big. As you know, a judge in the US said that Ripple is not a security, which is pretty big. So the idea is to accumulate as much crypto as possible before the next bull run. I think there is some chance that will actually happen, because the problem is that it's not that crypto is good. The thing is, fiat is very bad. It's like it's US dollar is like shaking, and like I don't know what's gonna happen to it. Indeed, it's like maybe nothing, but it's like situation is quite shaky, and you can see that the fiat system is failing. So crypto is like shit as well, like, to be honest, but it's better. So it might be that we will see another bull run, and it's better to be prepared for it. I talked to the guys in the ecosystem who want to develop this project, and I think I mean Waves ecosystem, have this announcement pretty soon, maybe even next week. Can't Neutrino own MPT without it being swappable? Let me think about it, okay? Because, okay, I know you have some nice ideas, actually. Yeah, I'll think about it. You messaged me once. I remember. I don't remember the idea, but I remember that it was pretty good. Synetic guys are here, and guys, you're gonna love them. I think they've been in Waves ecosystem, I think, since the beginning. They're like totally nuts, but okay, it's okay, So I don't know who is sound now, who is of sound mind now. I've never met a sound person, like totally sound, in years. So it's okay now. The world is crazy. So have some fun with them. They launched their token. I don't know what it does, but okay. But they're, yeah, next week, man. Next week. What amount of XTN will the Waves virus holders get per one Waves? Let's just I will present those calculations, or virus team will do that. So yeah, I'm not prepared. Yeah, so I don't want to give some wrong estimate. Verified scam at WX. Well, what scam? Galko, who do you mean? I'm not sure that Synetic is a scam. I think they're just crazy. It's a psychiatric problem, it's they're like loony. It's okay, it's okay. When Vitalik vs Sasha fight, I'm gonna smash him. Come on. You think Elon will happen vs Mark? I don't think so. Someone passed the Vaseline to the Waves holder on Virus V2, V1. Man, it's not so bad, actually. Why is 38 million XTN? No, you're not no. Well, what's 38 million? No, they will be swapped to MPT. People can swap them. They can choose to swap them. They're not gonna enter the market, man. No, because we're not so crazy. Because that would basically hijack our efforts, Because we are trying to grow the price, as we did for more than a year, actually. But it's the same thing. So we need to grow the price of XTN. So we can't allow it to enter the market in such huge numbers. No. I don't know if I'm crazy or not. Like, everybody thinks that he is like not crazy, So, but you never know. I think Cinetic guys think that they're like the most reasonable guys in the world, So. Where can I read the roadmap for launching the USDT WX buyback? Why are these tokens hidden? Yeah, because we announced that. So there is like WX.network, which has all working products, and there is Waves.exchange that has the things that failed, and it will be online as long as we need to resolve those things. But let's keep those things separate because we need to move forward. Okay, so you can trade WXG tokens on the new domain as well, but they're not verified there. So if you want to trade them, go to Waves.exchange, and it works. Nothing is hidden there. Let's just separate things, because despite all those problems, we have to move forward now. So as we have always been doing, despite the situations that we have faced before, and there were always situations, but we always move forward. What about node verified list on WX? We should discuss this. Yeah, Galki, we should discuss this. You can raise this question in the node chat, and we'll do something. Any news regarding WXG tokens buyback? We are buying it with the fees. The fees are low. We have to grow the fees and find some funding. It's still the same, unfortunately. We have some ideas how to increase the fees. Yes. I will not share. No. It's better to execute this first. When launchpad at WX? Good question, actually. I think when the projects that have applied for the DAO funding will launch the token. There is Axley, there is Keeper, there is Pepe. I think Axley will launch on swap.fi because it's swap.fi team, and it's not a secret. But Keeper and Pepe might launch on the launchpad. And probably we will try to find some other launchpads. So it should be some kind of like multiple launch. Will Waste team apply for marketing DAO? Don't understand the question. Galki, please elaborate, because I launched the marketing DAO. I'm Waste team, yeah. So I'm not gonna apply to my own DAO. Yeah. So we need to have more tutorials for Power. Unfortunately, we had to let some people go in Power, not only because of lack of funding, but kind of like they were not the right fit, I guess. So now we have, because basically they couldn't deliver things that are similar to the chart that you posted here. We need to have some tutorials, explanations, and such. Yeah, so it will be done. What will happen in case when a DAO runs out of funds? It actually can't, because there is this influx from the miners. And if there is no funds, it means that either you have to wait when there is some funds accumulated, and it can be done in two ways. Either it comes from the miners, or after the settlement, for example. Somebody deposits into the treasury. If we have a successful settlement, I think some people will, actually. So it's like continuous. It's like, you have like two types of investment funds. It's like open-ended funds and closed funds. Basically, this is an open-ended fund. It's like continuous. So it means that you can deposit and withdraw anytime. So if it runs out of money at a certain point in time, it's not the end, because the new money will come and it will move forward. It will continue. It's like you just can't run out of money. It can run out of money for some time. How will you find new correct people to work on power? I think actually, so I can basically come up with a tutorial myself in half an hour. I just need to find time. So you have ChatGPT now, and basically you can like fire 90% of people that you had to hire before. Because for me, it's quite simple to come up with anything like in 30 minutes if I have ChatGPT at hand. That can do like some spelling check and improve the English. So you don't need copywriters, you don't need like spell checkers, you don't need like native English speakers. You can do that on your own. So you just need to find time. Yeah, ChatGPT can do anything, unfortunately, so it can do a lot of things, and I like technology because it gives you something that you usually lack. Yeah, like it basically reduces the time for you to deliver. It can't replace you, but it can just make your work better because you spend a lot of time on like proofreading and such. And some people say that ChatGPT generates bullshit, but it's not true. It generates what you put inside it. So if you actually put in something reasonable, it generates something reasonable. So it's great. Do you think? Yeah, do you think it's a realistic possibility? It's a realistic possibility for Pepper team to create a bridge for Bitcoin Lightning Network. Yes, they're working on Bitcoin. It's not so complicated as it seems, actually. So probably you remember around BTC, they had a situation with Alameda. They were like funded by Alameda, I think, and there was some like situation. And they had a problem. It was like closed source as far as I can remember, but it worked, so it's kind of complicated technically, but it's very much doable. Of course, you don't have smart contracts on Bitcoin. You can come up with some crap like ordinals, but it's crap, to be honest. But you can do the same thing that you do with other chains. So there's like some kind of like witnesses that monitor Bitcoin network. They have multi-signature, and they can like do those like multi-signature signings. Then they can transfer funds in the Bitcoin network. So it's doable, yeah. So they're working on it. As far as I know, they are launching Tron now. And after that, they will launch Bitcoin Bridge. Yeah. Which will be as trustless as possible. You can't make it like 100% trustless. But all those like bridges setups are not perfectly trustless, but somehow they're similar to blockchain networks themselves. When you have like 50% of their verifiers that are like non-Byzantine, you're good. The same applies to bridges, actually. So the security is similar to the security of like a medium-sized blockchain network in this case. If the treasury, the power marketing down doesn't raise all the waves, will it be rejected? Please reformulate your question. Doesn't understand. What about the bridge for BRC20 tokens? Yeah, but it's like we have it. We have it. They have it. Pepper team has it for smart chain. Or you mean, what do you mean? It's like, yeah. You mean Bitcoin? Yeah. I don't know, guys. So if Pepper team decides to implement BRC20, okay, I don't believe in them, to be honest. I think because why I don't believe in them? It's some kind of a hack. On top of that, the hack was attempted around 2013, 2014. It's like 10 years old technology, because there has been several networks running on Bitcoin. Counterparty, if you remember it. Tether, everybody knows Tether. They launched on Bitcoin, so they actually had USDT on Bitcoin as a token around 2016. So it's a very old technology, and Bitcoin is trying to be as conservative as possible. So they will probably never have actual smart contracts on their chain because their goal is to be like very conservative. And it definitely needs centralized networks, centralized exchanges to trade Bitcoin. And centralized exchanges will do anything in their power to keep Bitcoin the way it is. Because to trade Bitcoin, you need centralized exchanges. There is no other way around it. So all those hacks like BRC20 and such, I don't think they have a future, in my opinion. XRP bridge, yeah, XRP. I actually always supported them. I understand that they're like kind of like, they're okay. I'm not in position to critique anyone. So yeah, but I publicly, you can probably find some tweets. I always supported XRP because what SEC tried to do with them is weird, like why? They have a use case. They did implement their technology with several banks, so what the fuck? They're okay, so. Yeah. I think it's pretty important. SEC, hard to comment. We need to ask some American guy who knows it better, because from outside, it's a black box, like everybody is doing something very stupid, so you don't understand why, you don't understand, for example, you don't understand what SEC is trying to achieve with this. You kind of understand why they're doing this, but you can't understand their end game here. So I'm not in a position to comment, and probably I'm not so interested, to be honest. What are the chances that we will have a working power / mechanic to test before this DAO quarter is over? I think the first settlement is some kind of a trial run for it, because there was this like XTN donation, which, as I said during this AMA, basically makes sure that the first settlement is successful. But on the other hand, it breaks all the logic, So we need to have proper / mechanics starting from the second KPI. This is the plan. How about an update on WX roadmap? We're working on that. We have some ideas. I'm not gonna share now because I don't wanna, be a little bit like, premature with this. Keep the global reserve currency in the USA. I don't know. I don't think in like our children probably will deal with some other type of money, so because I don't think it can be saved, the situation can be like rescued, it's like, I think it's over for fiat, because either we will have very controlled systems like Chinese yuan, for example, or we'll just move to crypto. Okay, probably the former, so we will have things like very like controlled, authoritarian crap like CBDCs and stuff, so because people they're not able to print money without control, so we can't. So it's like, so there has to be some algorithm to this. Probably Bitcoin is not the best, but this is the best that we have. So I think Bitcoin is going to do fine, at least in the short to medium run. WXG question, LTC. Wait. LTC funds held go to extend buyback. LTC problem is quite small, I think, and it will be bought back with the fees as well. When power airdrop to shareholders? I think it's a good moment now to wait a little bit with this, because we need to execute the swap of XTN held at Virus into MPT. That should actually, and some XTN from the market, from the free float, will be swapped. That should increase the price of XTN because it will increase the backing ratio, and by extension, it has to increase the price of SURF, right? So maybe later. So and I have some ideas about SURF, but I want to first execute this MPT thing because it's more important, and it should actually increase the SURF price. Drop it like it's hot. What drop? Synetic is trolling everybody in Russian, so you'd better learn English, man, if you want to be important globally, so everybody in the world knows you and how beautifully crazy you are. So MPT can be distributed by miners. Yes, exactly. This is the plan. So, and there is 3 pillars of this proposal. One is L2. Second is making XTN people whole, and the third is making Waves miners become profitable. Because basically without them, there's going to be no new network. They will generate all those native tokens on the new network. And basically Waves becomes this L2, L0 chain, which will support all those L2s, but it will be based on Waves token. Because to mine those new tokens and to support those L2s, you need to lock Waves on L1. So current miners should be doing very well in future. And we have voted as a community for the feature 19, for the feature 20, and I'm very grateful to the miners for this. And basically, this is what I'm trying to do for them, because I think the miners are the staple of Waves network, right? So everything will depend on Waves token, even if there is new tokens, like L2 tokens. You need Waves to get them, So everything will depend on current network and on the current Waves miners. Synetic, actually, guys, they're gonna blow you away, I guess, because I've seen them in the Russian chats for years, and they made everybody totally crazy. Everybody hated them. So it's your turn now. Sasha, tell me what will be the reward for Waves DAO I put power. So the first settlement will be in about a month, and just wait. So I think if you want to participate, you can wait for the first settlement. and only after the first settlement you can add power tokens or deposit into the treasury. Now you can't. So just wait a little. It's about a month to go. Yeah. Not next week, next month. Can Kinetic blow Boris 1xtn? Yeah. Maybe they're the same guy, so I don't know. Does Quack is the project's mascot? Quack, you mean duck? But Quack in Spanish, duck is not quack, it's what's pato, yeah. You mean the guy? Yeah, where is he? Proposals for the various data assumption plan. Next government proposal. Next week. Man, you know the answer. Why are you asking me? Why are you asking the next week guy the question when? The next week guy will answer you next week. Okay? It's like obvious. Yeah. I love everybody, and Psynetic guys, I love them too. And I think they're not bad guys. And being crazy is okay. Thank you very much. Спасибо, ребята. The entire volume of the treasury will be considered a profit this time in Waze DAO. Kind of, yes, because XTM donation will be used in calculation of the profits of miners who sent 2 waves per block. So it's kind of like complicated, but I think we'll reach some consensus because, as you know, all governance decisions are made through the voting. Basically, we will come up with some proposal to distribute the profits, and the community should vote for it or against it, or come with their own proposal. Sasha, answer this. It's an interesting question. Clicking on it. Yeah, with the upcoming quantum computing, it looks possible crypto will have some issues with that much computer problem. It's very complicated, guys. So it's like quantum computing is not so simple as some people pretend it is, actually. So I don't think it will change anything in near future. So 99% of the time when you hear something about like quantum computing resistant algorithm, it's marketing. It's going to take a lot of time, and basically quantum computing at its current stage can't change anything. So even if it's working in future, when it's like possible to break, for example, current encryption algorithms, which are used, for example, for secure communication on the internet, is gonna probably be done not with quantum computers, but with the traditional computing. It's more or less like what happened to AI, because it's quite interesting, actually, because we don't have any major breakthroughs, like theoretical breakthroughs in AI for decades. And even like hardware hasn't changed that much, but it improved to the level when you are able to train those like networks using pretty old algorithms fast, and you can train it with a lot of data. So it was like some kind of like aggregated progress, So it's not something that people invented AI like yesterday, and now we have ChatGPT. No, we had the same algorithm like 20 years ago, because I was involved in neural networks tangentially, but I was doing them for a couple of years, like maybe 15 years ago, and it hasn't really changed. But we just reached this point in our progress when everything came together, So the same can happen to, for example, cryptography. So I think that if somebody is able to crack encryption, it might as well happen with the current hardware. It will be just improved to the point where you can actually do that. As for quantum computing, it's kind of tricky. Probably just in case, it's better to have your algorithm bulletproof against quantum computers. But I'm like 99.9% sure that we won't have like proper quantum computing at least for a decade. So we have time. What bridge will support MPT going back and forth from waves L1 to yeah, so there is no bridge. You just need to have a smart contract. It's like trustless because L2 nodes will see L1, so you don't need a bridge. It's like one environment without bridge. Everybody loves Synetic now. Guys, you need to become international, so I think the world wants to have you, so learn English and make everybody in the world totally insane. No more green frog. Yeah, I have some ideas about like the ducks, but we need to. I won't share. Even next week, we need to do this MPT thing next week. Okay, so yeah, usually, yeah, so I have some project to show you. There is a guy in the community, Vitaly is his name. He's in Ukraine now, and like it's pretty bad there. Like I won't share like the details, but believe me, it's not nice. He worked for Waves, and also he has some money stuck in our gateways, so I'm feeling really not good about this. Yeah, maybe you saw this thing. Basically, what can you do here? You can draw on this mood canvas with your DPact tokens. You can basically draw any like anything. You can like draw some bad things about me. It's up to you guys. So I think it's a nice thing. I like how it works, and basically I think that we will have some kind of like community activity around it. So as you know, we don't have that much funds for now, but I will probably come up with some waves next time, and I will reward the person who has spent the most funds for this canvas, because when you draw on it, you have to use WXG tokens, like USDT, USDC, alt gateway tokens. And the person who has burned the most of them will get a prize next week. And probably I will also do an airdrop to all the participants. So please do. I think let's count in dollars probably. So the winner will get like 1K USD, and we will do some airdrop as well, like maybe of the same amount. Sorry, I don't have money, guys. This is like it's true, But I just want to, because I think it's a very nice thing, technically nicely done, and it will provide some kind of entertainment for our AMAs. We have been doing those airdrops during AMAs last year, and now we are not doing anything, but I think we should. So please participate, and as I said, the person who has burned the most tokens will get 1K in waves, and there's going to be an airdrop to all the participants. And you have 1 week to do that. And you can basically draw anything. Maybe we can have some special prize for the best drawing, for example, or the best picture. Yeah, dick pics, whatever, guys. Sasha is a dick. Okay, like I'm okay with everything, as you know. Yeah, and support Vitaly as well because he's in Ukraine and in the area where it's not so nice. When virus victims whole, if you want to give me some estimate, I can't, So let's just see how it goes. We have a plan, we have to stick to it, and maybe somebody else can estimate, depending on how we progress now. Because now we are at some kind of like a junction, So now we have this plan, we have to execute it. And if it goes well, we will probably able to tell you when it's going to be over. But now probably we need to focus on the execution. Okay, guys, so I showed you this mood canvas. You have something to do next week. So yeah, okay, so I'm back to work. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I'm looking forward to it every week. I hope you do as well. Next week should be very interesting. MPT basically. Yeah, let's focus on this. Some other stuff, but let's focus on this. So I love you all. Power to you, because you are the people. See you next week. Have a great week. Bye, guys. Till next week.